In order to attract abundance, you really have to love yourself first in order to keep it. So there's so many compelling reasons we can spend our money on things, or there's so many compelling reasons not to work. So both of these things keep us broken in our money, our lack of ability to bring it in and our ability to spend it all are the two things that keep us broke. And what influence those two levers and cause us to be broke all the time and not potentially keep our money comes from low self-esteem. We have low self-esteem to apply for the jobs that we know we're worthy of, or to start the business we know we're worthy of, or we have low self-esteem that even if we do the thing, we get the job, we get the money, we still don't feel like we're enough at the end of the day, and therefore I have to get rid of all the money. So the way to build your self-love and to keep the money and to be abundant is you have to believe in yourself first. And I like to look at it through the lens of relationships as a metaphor. So think about dating. So think about the person who is hooking up with others, the person who listens to the sweet talk of the other person, trying to convince them to hook up and is saying, this is the way to go, this is easier. You don't have to get into these difficult, long-term committed relationships. And what happens is you sell yourself short. It's kind of like deciding to get a job and then get a car payment in order to get to the job. It's like you're selling yourself short instead of feeling your worth and feeling your self-love and looking for a job that doesn't require you to take on that car payment. It doesn't require you to show up in person. You can do it remotely because your boss cares about you and trusts you to do the work remotely. That's what kind of level of relationship you deserve. And it's in the same way in our personal relationships. It's like you deserve the serious, committed relationship. You don't have to settle for the hookup. But in the same ways, employers will try to convince you to come into work and drive into work and take the car payment. You know, it's kind of like a hookup situation. It's similar to that person who's saying, it's okay for you to come over after 11 and we'll just Netflix and chill under the blankets. And you have to realize you can say no to that. You don't have to accept a lower offer just because it's common, just because it's out there and other people are accepting those lower offers. Now, if there's a really good reason for you to get a car, that's your dream job, and you have the money to get the car, you feel confident you can afford it, there could be something there that is worth your while if you really think things through and you're cautious about it and you write it down on paper. But you have to be careful. There are a lot of employers who won't treat you right. They'll try to import you and get you to move on your own expense, and then they'll drop you as soon as they find out that you're not Miss Perfect Angel employee, that you're actually a human being who has human needs, so don't get wrapped up in these short-term promises of you're going to have an amazing hookup or you're going to have an amazing job straight away as long as you move with all of your stuff and pay for everything. These sorts of offers are too low from employers and you don't want to accept them. They're too low from romantic partners and they cause you to go broke when you make these decisions, emotionally and financially. And so the way to keep your money is to understand when you're not being given a good enough offer, when the employers or the people in your life are not treating you at the standard that you'd like to be treated. So you first have to tell yourself good things, that you deserve to be treated well, that you deserve to have a partner who sticks around, that you deserve to have an employer who treats you right, or you deserve to have your own business and take control of your life. But you have to feel it inside before it manifests on the outside. If you don't feel it, it's gonna show up broken in some way on the outside. Things are not gonna go right. And the way to get that right is to keep working on it. You have to keep conditioning it. And even if you do get it right, let's say you succeed and you get the long-term committed relationship and you get the good workplace, or you have the business that succeeds and it all works out, you still have to condition it because there can still be things that happen even at a high level of marriage or a high level of career that are dramas, that are chaos, and that can throw you off guard because life is just filled with a lot of curveballs. So you have to keep reinforcing that positive message to yourself, and you have to be cautious around people who are constantly giving you negativity. It's okay if they give you some because they're trying to be constructive and they're trying to pair it with some positive feedback. That's okay. Some people do need to share their constructive feedback, and if it's thoughtful and helpful, then that makes sense. But if they're just constantly coming at you with negativity or with offers that are just not good enough for you, then you have to start letting that stuff go. You have to be okay with setting your boundaries and saying, maybe I don't need a relationship with this person in my life. Maybe it is better that I block them or remove them, or I don't respond to this particular inquiry. And you get to know that over time. Sometimes you don't know right away that people are not the best match for you until 6 months in or 12 months in. It's pretty hard for people to lie long term. So if they put on a good act short term, you may not see it right away. The important thing is to have the backbone to walk away whenever the bad behavior shows up. What if you're married? This is a hard one. Let's say you're married for 30 years and then the partner cheats. That's a tougher situation because you've had so much history together. And in that case, when you have a house together and finances together, you really have to think through about what's best for your well-being. But it's good to think about these things upstream before these situations ever happen. Like if your partner ever did cheat after 30 years, what would you do? Like have a backup plan, have some thoughtful priorities set aside. Maybe you do have some money set aside to buy a new place so that you're able to separate from that person if that happens. Or maybe that's just too tough. Maybe you don't have the money to set aside, but maybe you can go to your parents' house. There are so many different options, but you have to think it through and think about what's practical if difficult obstacles show up later in your life. For example, I have a backup where I could potentially move to another country if need be. I haven't exercised it because I'm quite happy in the country that I'm in right now, and so I don't feel the need to upheave my life at this point. But if chaos were to happen and I needed to get out of my country, I have an out. And I think most people should be thinking about ways to get out of their country in case something happens.